Welcome to Ear Biscuits, the podcast where two lifelong friends talk about life for a long time. I'm Link.
And I'm Rhett. This week at the round table of dim lighting, we have had some dreams.
Dreams are good.
Funny thing is last night when we spoke on the phone like we do every night, we put each other to bed over the phone.
Good night.
Good night, Link.
Good night, buddy.
During my nightly tuck you into bed with my voice call, you told me that you had a dream that you wanted to share with me today.
Yes.
And here we are. The future is here.
Yes.
And I think that put a thought into my head, which was
To have a dream?
To have a dream, and then also to remember the dream, because when I woke up, I had a funny dream, weird dream or whatever, and just because you had told me that you were gonna tell me about your dream, I was like, you gotta do it, you gotta get up, and I dictated it into my phone.
You trying to outdream me?
No, I'm just saying.
You trying to outdo my dreams with your dreams?
I was trying to say thank you.
By what?
Thank you for giving me the reason to remember my dream, because otherwise it would have just been another dream that's lost into the ether forever.
But you did a voice memo.
I dictate.
That's a good idea.
I do a lot of dictating into my phone, so I turn on the little thing so that, now it dictates it wrong a lot of the time.
But it's good enough that you can remember it.
This is actually how I journal now.
Oh, what?
I would say 40 to 60%, which could be rounded to 50. Half of the time I journal by, I have a thought, and instead of doing a memo that I won't be able to search the text and I won't be able to organize, I begin to talk into my phone, and I say things like insights that I have in life, period, new paragraph. I will begin doing this on a regular basis, period, new paragraph, unless it doesn't go well, period. So I've gotten pretty good.
The problem is anybody in earshot of this?
Do you think I care?
I think you should. If that's your tone, it's not a good look.
I don't do it at the mall, if that's what you mean.
I mean, even for people who love you, it really makes us question.
I don't do it in front of anybody.
It's like, do we want to keep loving him?
No, this is
because he's doing that. What is he? What was he trying to do? An autobiography?
This is exclusively. Honestly, it happens like in the morning when I'm working out. I like to journal while I work out.
The tone of voice you're using, at least here,
I was doing that for the people.
Like, Captain's log.
You have to speak very clearly so Siri will understand what you say. You have to speak in a Midwestern, Middle America accent that a news anchor would speak in so that Siri will understand, because that is the voice that Siri has been programmed to think is the center of the way that people talk in this particular country using this particular language. I don't know what that says about Siri, but it says that if I don't talk like a Midwestern news anchor, Siri will not accurately transcribe what I say, period, new paragraph. Sincerely, new paragraph, Rhett McLaughlin.
Just do an earshot sweep before you do that. You know?
Earshot sweep.
Just make sure there ain't nobody within earshot, and if there is, you just gotta wait. But this has got me thinking of a couple of things.
I want to hear your dream, though.
I know, but I want to be able to journal. Now, when you say journal, you're talking about jotting down thoughts.
Dear diary, new paragraph.
You're talking about, like, at the end of each day.
I don't do that.
That's what I really want to do.
I'm not a freak.
I think it would be so good. It's therapeutic,
I don't do morning pages.
What? Is this a Jeff Bezos?
Jenna knows about that.
It's the artist's way.
She knows about that.
Okay, great for y'all. Listen.
Writing every day. I don't do that.
Why not just record a voice memo and then have that translated, and then you have your voice, you have a recording of yourself.
Well, there is an app.
Saying, I had a dream last night.
There is an app, and I think me and you actually...
Is it called Dream?
I don't know if this is built into the new iOS. I mean, everybody's talking about the new iOS. But years ago, you and I had a conversation, had a crazy idea, I don't remember. We recorded it in a voice memo, and then we were talking to someone, and they were like, you should just transcribe that to text. There's an app for that, and we did it.
I don't remember.
And I don't think it worked well. I don't want to hear what I sounded like. I don't like the sound of my own voice.
I just want to journal.
I do like the sound of my voice when I talk like a Midwestern news anchor, though.
I'm gonna start doing that for myself. So that's how you got I want you to read what the transcription is of your dream. to see what's wrong. Oh, you getting cringe?
No, it's better for me to tell you the dream
fine.
than to read the transcription. Because the
What do you want
transcription
from
is
me?
like a cue for me to remember what actually, I want your dream to be told to me.
Oh my God. You know, it's one of those dreams that I was just so worked up about it. I was disturbed. I was really in my, what are you in? It's not oats. It's
You're a horse?
I was out of my
Element.
it was just no.
It shook you up.
It shook me up.
Yeah.
I was shaken up to the point of waking up.
Shaken, not stirred. Mm-hmm.
No, shake and wake. Mm-hmm. And I woke up just enough to realize, it was a dream.
Oh wow.
What
time of day?
I think
Night?
this was like 4 a.m.-ish.
It's a bad time to wake up from a dream.
I know, it's an early time. Mm-hmm. Go back to sleep. Go back into the dream.
Marky Mark would be up doing pull-ups at that time, praying and
Cinder
pull-ups.
blocks.
He does a pull-up and he prays to the Lord, and he comes back down and he comes back and he prays to the Lord. He's got an app for praying. Marky Mark does, and I don't know if you know that. So he does a pull-up, he prays, he says he also does some other things, and then he lifts the cinder blocks.
But it's Catholic prayer. It's scripted.
Catholics can pray any way they want to, man. What you got against Catholics?
But I think that they
He probably says a few Hail Marys, yes.
they got some scripts.
When he's doing the cinder blocks. I'm just saying, Marky Mark, he's up at 4 a.m. He doesn't go back to sleep.
I went back to sleep and I go back into the dream, and then I was waking and quaking again. Scared, waking up a second time, and I woke up more. This time I was like, this was a dream. Don't get so worked up about this. And I had that relief feeling of, oh my gosh,
Just a dream.
Thank God.
Just a dream.
And then
So you did pray.
I lowered myself from the pull-up bar and I went back to sleep. And it happened a third time. And it's
Same dream?
same dream. The relief is not worth the anguish.
You re-entered into the same dream for a third time.
And it wasn't, it was an anticipation of
Might
something
be a
happening.
record.
So here's what it was. You and I were going to have a boxing match.
Right.
And it was like, obviously it was some sort of publicity stunt, a little bit of desperation on
Creator
our part.
clash or something we did on our own?
I think we're doing it on our own.
We don't want to travel to Florida.
Nope. Yeah, I don't have
Nothing
to go to
against
another
Florida.
cluster.
It's just I don't like
punch you in the face.
changing time zones if I don't have to.
But here's the catch. No boxing gloves.
Well, of course.
This is going to be like a street fight.
Oh, we're going raw dog if we do it.
Street fight, punching each other in the face.
Yeah.
And
Fight to the death.
no, it wasn't a fight to the death. It was like, it was so real that it was going to happen.
We wouldn't even do the little like ultimate fighting gloves.
Nope. And that's what I was like, why are we doing it this way? Because it was something that we were planning. We weren't mad at each other. We were desperate for something. Clicks, I don't know.
Well, eventually we'll do it.
Fame, I don't know. Because it is kind of a running joke over the years. Once people who have no business fighting each other started fighting each other, it was like, well, of course we could pull that lever if we got to.
And it would be probably the most popular thing that we've done in many years if we were to do it. But hey, let's just so you know, it's not happening. Okay?
It's definitely not
So
happening.
don't talk about it happening.
Because I now know what it feels like to believe that it's happened.
But it didn't happen.
It doesn't matter. That's the thing about dreams I don't think you realize is that it's an absolute, completely real simulation of reality that involves every emotion
Why do you say I didn't realize it?
involved in it.
I know.
Involved in
I'm
it.
familiar with dreams. I've read about dreams. Why are you saying I'm not familiar with it?
I know what it feels like to know that we're gonna street fight, and it feels horrible, man.
And you should be very, very scared of that.
It feels just because of your reach.
Bro, I would rip you apart. I mean, you might get a couple of shots in, but as soon as I started landing stuff, it would be ugly so fast. Not that we're gonna do it. I'm not saying we're gonna do it. I'm just saying I would rip you apart, man.
All I have to do, and I was like,
I would mow you down.
it wasn't the morning of.
Like a weed.
It was weeks off in the calendar, and I had weeks to just be in anguish about this thing. But hey, I I was thinking about like my guard, and I was like talking to people about it.
Yeah, right through it.
I was talking to people about it, and I was like, you know what? If I just get in a good one early, he just bleed like a pig and cry like a baby.
If you hit me in the nose, I would start bleeding, but I would punch you out before I bled to death.
You have no technique. I did the Billy Blanks things with my wife like 10 years ago.
You know how I commit to things, man. I would get a trainer. I'm not doing it. We're not doing it. Okay? So stop asking for it. The thing is that
the time it takes to move your fist to the end of your arm, I could be buzzing all around you, man.
Mythical beasts. This is, and I think this is a great thing about this wonderful community of fans that we have built is they don't want to see us fight, man. Sure, there's some. But they actually, the idea that we would get into a fist fight with each other, they're like, no. So
brings him as much anguish as it brings me.
Yeah, I actually think that
it's a horrible idea.
They don't even want to see it.
I don't want to do it.
Here's the thing.
Let's not do it.
In the process of nearly murdering you, I would hurt myself badly. I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you that. By the end of this thing, we'd both be in a hospital.
All I gotta do
You would be in the hospital. No, you'd be in the hospital from me hitting you, and I would be in the hospital from me hitting you. Because I'm gonna throw something out, my neck's gonna go, my back, but I'm gonna get some shots in.
You know what? This was an opportunity for you to empathize. Here was the thing. This was an opportunity for you to say, man, you really got worked up over this.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
I was basically saying that I was afraid of it.
Yeah.
You didn't have to lean into that.
No. I was saying, I understand.
Focus on this.
I was like, I
don't
understand.
care what you were saying.
I had a lot of empathy because you know how bad it would be for you, and I understand that is the truth. And so I'm feeling for you on behalf of what you would feel if you had to fight me. I'm actually, this is me caring about you. So I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry you had that triple dream about me almost kicking your ass.
The waiting is the hardest part. I bet you us fighting wouldn't be nearly as bad as me dreaming about it. You know what? Let's do it. Let's do it.
We don't want
I don't want to. Yeah, the last thing I want to do is ever punch anybody in the face.
I've never punched anybody in the face. I punched two people named John in the stomach once in defense of you.
Thank you.
And I've had 2 one-punch fights in my life. So I would do body shots as well, so you get looking out for that.
It's amazing how real dreams can be, and it's just all up here, man.
Well,
it just kind of makes you question,
Question what?
What is real, If a dream can be that real and it's all here, then there's so much other stuff that's probably not as real as I think it is.
I don't know if you're drawing the right conclusion there, but I'll let you wrestle with that.
Okay, well then my conclusion is I need to up my anxiety medication.
No. I mean, that's between you and your doctor.
My coach.
Yeah, your life coach.
Yeah, he's giving me pointers.
Have a PhD.
See that? See that? Little Billy Blanks right there, man. The one thing I did notice about,
you trying to tempt me?
The one thing I did notice about Billy Blanks is his face is a little messed up.
Billy Blanks he's like a fitness guy.
I think it's because he got punched in the face.
I know everything I need to know about the way you think about boxing. When you think about boxing, you think about Billy Blanks.
I don't want to learn anything from a guy whose face is all marred up from getting hit. I want a pristine face, someone who's been through it and is still pristine. It's like that's who I want to learn from. Because that's what I need. I need to keep pristine.
Yeah, and that's why I'm not going to fight you. Because I want people to continue to think that you're a good-looking guy because I think it helps us get views.
I can't even.
If I break one
it does.
If I break one of your eye sockets, which I definitely would do, we would lose something. I would lose something. You see what I'm saying? That's why I'm not going to fight you.
Well, maybe I can straighten your nose back.
I had a dream, and I'm not as confused about reality after the dream, but I do think it was a funny dream, and I'm going to tell you about it in a second.
They can be so real.
But first, we're going to, you know what we've done? We do all kinds of stuff. I mean, we're always doing something new. You probably get tired of hearing about the latest thing that we've done. Because
this is cool though.
But this is a little bit different.
Sometimes we make things and I'm so excited about it, I take a picture of it and I send it to my family, like my immediate family.
Your little thread, your text thread.
Yeah.
What do you call that?
This is
what's
one
the
of
name of y'all's family text thread?
FAM, fam,
Oh,
all caps.
okay.
I don't know what it stands for, but it's all caps.
Ours is just, you didn't ask, but
What's yours?
I asked you so I could say what mine is. Sean and Barbara's people.
That's long.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the last quarterly item of the year for the Mythical Society. Remember, you gotta be a 3rd degree member of the Mythical Society in order to get these items. And we have partnered with, guess who? The official Guess Who.
All right, just give me a minute.
The official Guess Who.
What, just give me a minute. Milton Bradley.
No, I think is it Hasbro? Who makes Guess
Hasbro,
Who?
it's Hasbro.
Yeah, Guess Who, the game. You know the game where you've got like faces and you're trying to memorize them and you're trying to guess the other person. There's a
Strategy and world
mythical
domination.
world domination. There is a mythical Guess Who game that has every character that you can think of in the mythical universe and then some that you've forgotten about. I mean, it goes super, super deep. So all your favorite crew and characters, there's an add-on pack that goes even deeper. Join 3rd degree monthly.
Well, hold on, you don't have to, the add-on pack comes with it.
Yeah, it's all part of it. It comes with the add-on
We're not
pack.
nickel and diming you.
Well, yeah, because all you gotta do is be a 3rd degree member. Join 3rd degree monthly by Halloween, okay?
October 31st, 2023.
3rd degree monthly by Halloween, if you wanna get this thing.
It's pretty awesome.
And listen.
Tell me.
Well, before I tell you my dream, I wanna do the thing that we keep forgetting to do, which is
Rate and review.
We want you, if you enjoy the podcast, to rate and review wherever you enjoy it because it helps.
Ear Biscuits is brought to you by BetterHelp.
If you're anything like me, then there are times where you know exactly the change that you need to make, the thing that you want to do, the thing that you know would be good for you, but there are just other parts of your brain that get in the way of you making that change. And those can be difficult things to sort through.
Well, therapy can help you figure out what's holding you back so you can work for yourself instead of against yourself.
You know, we are huge advocates for therapy and we want it to be as accessible as possible to anyone, anywhere, at any time.
If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule.
Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge.
Make your brain your friend with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/ear today to get 10% off your first month.
That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/ear.
Ear Biscuits is supported by Chime.
I remember when I learned what a credit score was. It was when I found out that I had an incredibly low one because of what we had done to the apartment that we lived in college, which for some reason your name wasn't on the lease. So you didn't suffer in the way that I did.
Well, I knew about a credit score before you did.
So I spent quite a lot of time trying to build mine back up.
You may think a credit score is no big deal, but if you're dealing with a low credit score or no credit score at all, that could be a problem for your future financial goals.
That's why millions of people swear by Chime's Secured Credit Builder Visa credit card. Credit Builder is just a better way to build credit. You build your credit score safely with everyday purchases and on-time payment.
No annual fees, interest, or credit check to apply. You can use it everywhere Visa credit cards are accepted, and you're building credit using your own money.
And with a Chime Checking account, you can get paid up to 2 days earlier with a qualifying direct deposit.
Plus, you can overdraft up to $200 without fees with SpotMe when you set up that qualifying direct deposit and sign up for SpotMe. Chime will spot you up to your limit when you make a purchase that exceeds your balance.
Chime also has access to over 60,000 fee-free ATMs found easily with the Chime app. That's more than the top 3 national banks combined.
Your credit's a big deal, so build yours up with Chime. Just open up a Chime checking account with a $200 qualified direct deposit to get started.
Get started at chime.com/ear. That's chime.com/ear.
The Chime Credit Builder Visa credit card is issued by Stride Bank N.A., member FDIC. Chime checking account and $200 qualifying direct deposit required to apply. Out-of-network ATM withdrawal fees may apply.
On-time payment history may have a positive impact on your credit score. Late payment may negatively impact your credit score. Results may vary. Okay, dream.
they can be so real.
I can't remember the preceding events. I don't know what was happening, but the part that I remember is Jesse and I are on a bus traveling to an event, but not like Yellowstone geyser, like cross-country bus, like city bus to get to something, and everybody on the bus is going to the same place. You know how like sometimes if you had to go to
Yellowstone geyser. You mean Greyhound?
No, I'm talking about like if you're in Yellowstone and you're going to see a geyser.
That's a shuttle bus.
That's like a shuttle bus.
Okay.
I'm saying
they don't
like,
go across the country.
This is the kind of no, this is not across the country. This is the kind of thing where like, remember that year that we went to some award show and we had to like park and then get on a bus and everybody was going to the same place in these buses? It was that kind of thing.
Yeah, like
parking lot, then bus to an event.
Well, it does sound like a Yellowstone bus, a shuttle bus.
No, but it was a full-size bus. That's what I'm saying. But it was everyone on the bus was going to the same event. It wasn't like a city bus.
Gotcha.
Even though I did say city bus earlier, what I meant was a bus that was in the city. That was more detail than needed to happen. All I remember is
you might need a good punch to the face.
We were on stairs that were very, very steep, and it was the kind of stairs that if you find stairs outside that go like 20 stairs and then there's like a landing and then 20 stairs and then a landing and then 20 stairs and a landing like you see in some hilly cities.
Yeah, that's OSHA requirement, or that's just pure safety.
It's because if you start rolling down the hill, you gotta stop.
That's why they call it a landing.
This woman was driving the bus and she was barreling down the stairs. And we were all really, really scared. But she was saying, I do this all the time.
Shortcut?
She's like, I'm actually very good at it. And we were like, this is crazy. This woman is driving this bus down these stairs and it feels out of control.
I mean, it was like,
it was smoother than you would think when we were on the stairs, and then it was jarring on the landings. Mm-hmm. Something about there's a number of wheels and the sides, it would like kind of get on the stairs and then boom, and then,
Wow.
And then we get to the bottom, and she has an idea to do this like thing where she skids the bus right up to the entrance of the event.
Damn.
And it does it, and then it gets right to the side, and then it falls on its side.
Gently?
Yeah, like it almost didn't tip. You know what I mean?
Which side were you on?
The low side.
Not good.
But I don't remember people getting on top of me. I just remember like, oh, now we're outside of the bus. Like it was, how you'll skip a little bit of time in a dream, or maybe skip a little bit of time in my memory while I was dictating this. Then we walk into the event, and it is one of those.
Can I ask you about this part before we move on?
Sure.
How scared were you? Because my point is,
not nearly as scared as you were getting your ass kicked by me.
I was just thinking about, that's not how I thought about it.
Okay.
I was afraid for both of us.
Okay, all right.
But it was, I don't know if I said it was so real.
You have,
I was so worked up that I kept waking up, yet you're in like, you're in like a scene from a Marvel movie, and you're just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna, it's like you didn't believe it. You didn't even believe your own dream. Like, you didn't experience the emotion.
Well, I think the thing that you're talking about is you woke up at a very dire point in your dream and were in the middle of like an emotional response. I'm telling you about the middle of my dream, so I haven't woken up yet.
All right, that's fair.
And yeah, exciting things happen in dreams, Link. It's one of the wonders of the human mind.
That's scary as hell.
So we get out of the side turn bus and we go into this event, and this is the kind of thing, it's like one of those events where there's like sponsors there. Like people have like, oh, there's this display for this product that is being sold here because, oh, that must be one of the sponsors of this gala or whatever it was. I don't know. I don't know what the nature of the event was. I cannot remember how I was dressed.
You don't remember what the placard said, or like?
Oh, I remember this one particular display.
Okay.
I walk in and I see this display, and it is a branded display that kind of looks like it's 3 TV screens kind of in a wave of water, kind of made like out of some material. And it is an ad, like a physical standing ad for some sort of aquatic product. Aquatic product.
What? Aquatic product.
New paragraph. Aquatic product.
Aquatic product.
And like fins or something.
Okay.
And then I look on the screen and there's people swimming on the screen demonstrating this product. And then I look and I see this man swimming out of like a hole in a wall on the screen. And it's me.
Dude.
It's me with the aquatic product.
I mean, you got main character syndrome, dude.
And I was immediately like, what? And I said, oh no, this is when Jesse and I did that thing, like we went scuba diving or snorkeling in some place, and I signed a waiver.
I told you not to be signing those waivers.
I signed a waiver, and in the waiver, apparently was giving permission for them to use my likeness to sell their product.
Okay.
And the first thing I thought was, Flanagan's gonna be mad at me. I was like, oh no. He's our business guy here at Mythical. He's like, oh, I shouldn't have done this. I gotta read the waiver.
Dude, they saw your waiver. They were like, dude, we got like the rip-off Jason Momoa. We're gonna put him in
Aquaman.
fucking Aquaman.
They definitely wanted me to be Aquaman. But that's not all that happened. Because again, Jessie was also there and she signed the waiver as well. And so I look at the hole.
Yes.
Knowing that my wife is about to come out of that hole, and sure enough, here she comes, swimming out of this hole on the screen.
Okay.
And for some reason, she comes, I guess because she needed to, she was coming out of the hole and she did something with her hands, put her hands, this is the dumbest thing that I've ever heard. She puts her hands like this, so her elbows were the first thing to come out, but they were kind of near her chest. And it created an optical illusion that she was bare-chested.
Good.
Like she was coming tits out into this display.
She was doing the old elbow titty.
Yeah. And
it's like, man, those are some bony tits.
And I was like, oh my gosh, I know this. This is not the way it happened, but the way that this video is reproduced, it looks like my wife, who was standing right next to me. We just got off the bus stairs.
That's an understatement.
My wife is topless on this ad, and I didn't even agree. I didn't think I agreed to this, and so I was in a little bit of a panic, and I woke up.
There you go. See.
But then I became a rational, awake person and said to myself, that was only a dream.
I did that too.
And then I got happy because I was like, oh, Lane told me about his dream.
I did that.
I'm going to remember this dream. And then I turned over to my phone and I said, dream, going to some event, woman driving us in a bus downstairs as she talks about how good she is at it. In the mood to the bottom. See, this is where it doesn't understand what I said.
In the mood to the bottom.
And the bus falls on its side, and then we walk into this event, and there is 3 TVs together in this display, and it's me swimming, but it's for some reason, some product, some fins or something.
I know I asked for this, but you're telling me the shitty version of the story you've already told me.
Before I signed a waiver, which let them use my likeness, and Jesse was there, and we're swimming out of these holes.
Get to the titty part.
A lot. And the way that it's framed, Jessie comes out and she's got her elbows pulled up and it looks like her boobs, so it looks like she's a topless woman in the middle of this event that we just walked into.
Nice.
So what does that say about me? I'm never signing another waiver.
I'm less interested in what it says about you and more about this idea. I mean, it's isn't this this could be the next planking?
It's a very third grade, it's a very middle school boy makes boobs with elbows kind of thing.
It's kind of like when people turn
it's kind of a thing.
Thighs into, what do they turn?
They turn hot dogs into legs or legs into hot dogs.
Hot dogs into legs.
Very different thing. This is turning elbows into boobies, which is a middle school playground thing. Very common in those parts.
How? What do you, like this? So if they're bare.
No. What you do is you have a shirt that's stretchy, usually a t-shirt. You bring your arms into your shirt.
Okay, I can do
this. And you
this.
make elbow boobs. L-boobs, for short, is what a lot of people say.
But it's better to do it without. Oh, goodness.
Yeah, see, that is a middle school boy thing. It's pretty cool. Let's get a profile. I mean, look at that. Yeah, so that's what my wife was doing while swimming, believe it or not, while swimming out of a hole.
Bob Wills? I think so. Bob Wills it.
Yeah. It's fun, isn't it?
Fun. It was only just a dream. Some are close, some are far.
Okay, I had something else I wanted to talk about. I had the distinct privilege and honor of being present at the most recent appearance of one Elkhound Snugglebaby.
Oh, you're talking about the comeback special.
Uh-huh. And I have a little bit of video that we'll put in here at some point.
Oh, I did want to talk about this.
Oh, you want to talk about it? Well, yeah, I want to talk about it too.
Hold on, I wanted to hear your thoughts about this because let me set up the background here.
Okay.
Our friend Ward, boy, what a great guy. Every year for Ward's birthday, what he does is he invites his friends over to his house for a jam session sing-along party. He did it 2 years in a row. And it's like, well, this is an annual thing now. And so he likes to put his middle-aged friends on the spot and say, bring some songs that we can sing, print out chords and lyrics, collate multiple copies, and so you can hand them out to everybody, and everybody brings an instrument that they can play or think they can play.
But not laminated. We don't laminate because that's wasteful. One
year, somebody brought a trumpet. Or was it a saxophone? It was something. It was a band instrument, and it was out of place. But I think it was his sister, so nobody said anything.
I loved it.
It was cool. It was fun because, like, you know, anything goes. It was a group small enough to make it just awkward enough for everybody had to participate.
And one guy had,
which is nice.
One of those boxes, one of those percussion boxes that you sit on and then hit.
Yeah. Suspicious.
I really like that.
Really,
I really like it.
But he talked to me. He calls me on the phone. No pretext either. Just calls straight up. You know, well, something must be up. This is important. Hey, Ward, what's up? He's like, you know, my birthday's coming up, and I've decided this year I don't want to do the sing-along. I want to do a dance party. Like, I want to dance.
Yeah.
I want all of my friends to dance. And I started to get a little twinkle in my eye because
You figured you knew what he was.
I felt like there was an invitation.
You knew what was coming next.
He was like,
you've had this dream enough times.
Yeah. He was like, would you be willing to? And I was like, yes. I made up my mind I was going to say yes when a DJ opportunity presented itself because I needed to get back out there, but I didn't realize to the extent that I needed to get back out there. He was like, what's your DJ name? I was like, Elkhound Snugglebaby, man. Parentheses around Snugglebaby.
I mean,
no DJ ahead of
you haven't been, I just got to say, you haven't been pushing it too hard lately, so it's not on Ward that he didn't remember.
I wanted it to come to me.
Okay, yeah.
And he did. And I just made up my mind I wasn't going to overthink it. It's like it's going to be an automatic yes, especially in this friendly environment. I was like, this is a perfect way to get back on the horse. Then I started to think about, you know, it's been quite a while since I've done
on the elk, you could have said.
On the elk. I told you about my last DJ set, which was my second ever DJ set, which was like a year ago, just after Mythicon. It was the complete and utter middle school Halloween party failure.
Yeah.
Which is completely on record.
You're still
at this venue.
You were still recovering from that.
And it had such an impact on me that I hadn't gotten back out there.
You let it get you down.
And I was like, you know what? This is it. And you know what? I'm not gonna talk about the work I put into it or the prep or anything. Until you start to criticize it, and then I'm gonna make you feel like shit. So let's hear about what happens. If you're gonna make fun of my DJs, it's fair game.
If I was gonna criticize you, I wouldn't have brought it up, man.
You got your. No, I want it straight because I really do want to know what your observations were. I really am interested in this. I didn't wear the getup because there wasn't enough room.
Ceiling's too small, too short. Yeah.
You know, it was a living room. Yeah. So I didn't wear the antlers.
You need an arena for that.
And if I don't wear the antlers, I'm not going to wear the fur tunic. And if I'm not gonna wear the fur tunic, I did wear shorts. I did do that.
First of all,
And I did have the sign.
I will say, you did the right thing, I believe, given the atmosphere, the setting,
Right.
to not go full get up.
I didn't want to make it about me. I wanted to make it about people dancing. Now, Ward really wanted everybody to dance. We had many conversations about like getting people to dance.
I have thoughts on this. That's included in my review.
Is it gonna be on the deck? Is it gonna be in the living room? There was so much that went into the prep of this thing, and I knew that it was on my shoulders. To make or break his party.
Okay, wow. Yeah, because it was a dance party and you were the DJ. Now, I understand.
Okay.
I understand that you made the call to make sure that the living room became the dance floor, because originally he was thinking maybe it would be outside, it would be the deck.
Yeah, out on the deck.
So first of all, you were completely right about that.
Thank you.
The living room was perfect for that.
Yeah.
Good call.
That was a 40-minute conversation.
There was a moment, I'll just say, I'm gonna start with the shaky moment, okay, that kind of preceded things. Now, first of all, people show up.
We cleared out his whole living room. Like, we cleared out the couch. We cleared out he had a whole shelving unit.
You got the furniture
We
out.
cleared out everything. We pushed the piano
It was an
forward.
open
so
hardwood
that
floor.
The back of the piano is where I stood so that my DJ deck was on the piano. We rented PA equipment that was way too big for this environment. And we also rented a party light.
Yeah. Now, music was playing when I arrived, but it wasn't a dance party at the time. It was music is playing. You know, music is playing, people getting to know each other, people catching up, whatever.
Hors d'oeuvres.
Eating, drinking. And
Carousing.
I was thinking about this. I knew you were thinking about it, and I knew Ward was thinking about it. Okay, these are a bunch of middle-aged folk who
Don't do this.
there's a barrier to just begin dancing in someone's home, right? There's a barrier to begin dancing for a lot of people, right? Including me. You know, I'm not like, I love to dance, but I'd hate to dance at the same time, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Once I'm doing it, I'm going for it, but the barrier to entry to begin dancing sometimes it's like, nah. And I figured that this is common. So there had been light music playing, and I kept realizing, okay,
it was a groove.
It's getting dark. Now, first of all, I was appreciating all the choices you were making. You know, you always do a great job.
Good vibe.
Your playlist choices has never been your DJ weakness. You know, like you make great decisions about. It's really the thing where you faltered is some of the technical decisions and situations like that. But
Yeah, like making sure that the laptop continues to function.
that kind of thing.
In front of the middle schoolers.
But I was like, okay, it's dark now. It feels like this is probably when the dance party is going to start. Elkhound Snugglebaby comes out onto the deck where most of the party has gathered. And basically, you said, this is how I remember it. You were like, okay, the dance party is about to begin. And so you got everybody's attention, said that, and you turned around, and then you walked right into the glass of the of the door.
The sliding glass
glass door.
Hard.
Yeah.
Hard.
And I was like, okay, all right, rough start.
Yeah.
Rough start.
The dance party is about to begin. Yeah, it was an about face.
And you're like, turn, 2 steps. And then you like said, like, first of all, the
It
funny
wasn't
thing is,
glass. It was
screen.
It was screen.
It was screen because I don't remember a bang, but also no one laughed.
Nobody.
It wasn't like no one said anything. There was like no laughing and no like, ooh, it was just sort of like, everyone just kind of froze. No one knew what to do, but then you were like, and then you like grabbed the handle and like, here we go, and you went through this.
Yeah, you can. When that happens, if you haven't broken through the screen, then you open the door and you just keep going. You just got to get away. The majority of the people there I did not know personally.
Right, yeah.
But that was my first impression.
So at that point I was like, okay, this is either great
Oh,
that he got that out of the way, got that out of his system, or this is like a sign of things to come, and I will find out momentarily.
What if I would have had the antlers on? That would have been so good.
You would have never made it to the door.
I wouldn't have.
You'd still be on the deck.
They would have been like caught. You know how you see like you'll see a deer. You know, sometimes you can come up to like an elk
Deer,
in the forest.
They get stuck.
And they can get stuck.
Yeah.
And they'll die that way.
Sometimes they'll get another deer's head stuck on them.
I've seen that too.
Yeah, you can TikTok that if you
Yeah.
want.
And you know what? That could have been me, man. The rest of the night, I just could have been
Yeah,
me.
you made the right call. Not
Straight, and everybody had to. Everybody's got to stay on the deck or go all the way around because.
So you get back
God.
in. You made it to the station, and you began playing music.
Okay.
And of course, this is Ward's party, and Ward is very enthusiastic and also very like. He's not afraid to be like, come on, let's do this kind of thing, right? He's gonna encourage you to get started dancing.
Yeah.
And it didn't take long before the dancing was happening.
Yeah.
And Jesse and I went out there. We were having a great time.
Now, but you missed. Do you remember the sound effect part?
Oh yeah.
Because you missed that part.
Okay,
because,
so that's actually what drew me inside.
right, because Ward was like, I was like, yeah, I did my thing, like running into the thing,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then I was like, oh shit, I'm here, and I started playing my set.
Yeah.
And
Right. Just when people were wondering, who is that guy that just ran into the screen door?
Yeah.
Elkhound Snugglebaby. Elkhound Snugglebaby. Elkhound Snugglebaby.
Yeah. I still had those
Yeah.
sound effects.
Which again,
But
I think was a good call.
after the first song and one couple, two couples, and Ward were out there.
Mm-hmm.
I might have played a second song. Then I was like, you know what? This isn't working. This is the point where it doesn't happen. It's not a dance party. And so I stopped the music entirely. And I only played Elkhound Snugglebaby. Because I was like, I had to get their attention somehow.
I think that was a good call.
I mean, it was awkward.
Because I was on
It was a bit strange,
I was
right?
still on the deck, and I was like, I'm going to go in there. You know, I feel in this scenario, you know,
You owe it to me.
well, it's not that I owe it to you.
Oh, you do.
It's that, you know, when your friend's doing something and trying something, and you kind of know that, like, well, I know what the supportive thing to do. Not that I didn't want to dance, but it's just like I know that people are not necessarily going to be into this idea, and so I know that Ward. I basically was like, I saw myself as an agent of dance. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I'm obviously gonna dance, and so maybe if I'm out there, Jessie loves to dance. I knew she was gonna be out there. I knew Christy was gonna be dancing. So when you did that, I was like, all right, let's go. And
that it got everybody to stop their conversation because it's like, what is being
What is
said?
happening?
It's like
Yeah.
this low, distorted voice saying Elkhound Snugglebaby, and it's not stopping. I think I'm onto something there for this type of thing because it did work. I mean, I could have a new one that just says something like,
it's
to
time.
Get your ass on the floor. Get your ass.
But it did work.
it did work.
It did work, and you got to say her name, you know, in case anybody's wondering.
Right.
Did you give out any cards?
Let me come back to that.
Okay, so I'm dancing, and I'm having a really good time.
Oh.
And there was a moment in which, and I actually said this to my wife as I was dancing, because you did a really smart thing, which is you went into this old school, I mean, a lot of it was old school, but you kind of went into this old school section where it was like, you're playing songs that most of these people danced to when they were in middle school, high school, college-ish, right? And
Right.
I remember, and I told Jesse, I was like, this is like when we were kids in the 80s and a song from the 50s would come on and our parents would start dancing.
Yeah.
Like that.
We're all in our 40s.
We are doing exactly what they did. We're listening to music from the 80s
Yes.
and from the 90s, and we're dancing, and the funny thing is Ward's kids were there, And they weren't making fun of us. They were joining in and they were dancing as well. But I was like, this isn't necessarily a cool group of people.
No, we're not.
But this is a very happy group of people right now.
Yep.
And everybody was like, oh yes, like when you would, I don't even really remember. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you do remember because you curated the playlist, but name some of the things that you were playing.
And I actually did this at Mythicon too. So that I pulled out, I'm developing like a bag of tricks, and I have this Journey. When the lights go down in the city.
Well, I have a secondary thought about that and other songs like it, which I thought was really, really genius.
That goes into Billy Joel. Whoa, for the longest time. And it's like sing-alongy, and I knew it would get the 40-somethings.
But the thing that you did.
And I made a transition.
And again, I may be just a guy who just doesn't go to a lot of dance parties. In fact, I'm willing to say, I am not a guy who goes to a lot of dance parties. But the thing that you did that I was like, well, I don't know why this doesn't happen more often.
What?
The slow dance section.
Right. Ward and I talked, Ward made a joke the day before when we were like setting everything up, and he was just like, at a certain point you need to play some Peter Cetera. And I was like, that's a good idea. We should have a couples skate. That's what I called it. A slow dance section.
Oh, and it was several songs.
And that is what I call the Snugglebaby set. That's why I have the button I can press that says, Elkhound doing business is Snugglebaby. Matter of fact, the signature voice of that soundbite is here today.
Yeah, Jenna, can you demonstrate?
Oh, Elkhound Snugglebaby.
No,
which one do you want me to say?
The DBA, doing business as.
Oh, God, I don't remember.
Elkhound doing business is Snugglebaby.
That was so long ago.
I know, she did it once, but I've heard it a million times.
Elkhound doing business as Snugglebaby.
Yes. And then we also have the modes. Remember?
No.
You don't have to get it.
That was so long ago.
This one, she's the voice of the orb from Independence Day 2, right?
I don't remember those lines either.
Okay.
Elkhound mode, Snugglebaby mode.
So I thought that this was genius. And I was this is really facilitating something. And again,
there were lots of couples.
Maybe I'm out of the loop, but I don't remember the last time outside of a wedding that where there was the stated purpose of this birthday party was just to have a dance party. And of course, it went into this slow dancing thing, and like my wife and I just had a wonderful time.
It was great.
We danced throughout the whole thing.
And I would get the song going, and then I would come out, and me and Christy would dance, and then she would dance with you and Jesse when I had to go back behind.
So
that was tough. She had to take it for the team.
When you got the DJ's wife out there on the dance floor, there was a lot of me and Jesse and Christy dancing together, including a slow dance, which was interesting. But I felt like,
cute.
I'm an agent of dance, and so I'm here to do whatever I need to do. And I was thinking, this is going really well. We should do this more often.
For real?
Yeah. I think now you don't want to do it too often. You don't want to do it too often.
I'm looking at.
You don't want anybody to get tired of it. And so I have one very, very small critique.
Glory of Love is the Peter Cetera
Just
song.
one very, very small critique.
I need it. I'm ready for it. I'm open to it. Take my breath away.
There was
Berlin.
There was just a moment where, and again, this was, most people, it was a pretty familiar company, and there was only a few couples out on the dance floor at this time. Mm-hmm. But someone, maybe your wife, said something to you, and you just turned the music completely off and said, "What?"
Yeah.
And then you turned it back up.
I couldn't hear her.
And I was like, well, that was an interesting move.
I couldn't hear her when she was saying that. I thought she was talking shit about me.
Yeah, that was the only point I was like, you should have done that.
Yeah.
I think you got to let the song play out, and then you log that and discuss it on the way home.
Yeah.
But I don't think the DJ needing to hear something justifies cutting the music out and saying, "What?"
And listen, if someone's going to
everyone else, the music just stops.
If someone's going to give a careless whisper, George Michael, then I'm gonna stop the music because I just can't let it burn, Usher.
It's pretty impressive. I just think next time you say what, it should be on beat.
Because if it keeps up, I'm gonna have to get on my pony, Genuine, and get the hell out of here.
Like maybe if it's like a Lil Jon, what timed? What?
Oh, I'll put that on the button too. My technique is
maybe you do that. Now what about the cards?
My technique is
what
weak,
about future
but my
events?
playlist game is strong, and that's what matters the most. And that's what I kept telling myself.
I would say it's if this is your target audience.
Yeah, it is. It is
middle-aged
45-year-old people.
And then occasional mythical beasts. I think 99% of it is just the music choices. And there was a couple of places where the transitions really, really worked. I don't remember what they were.
Right, yeah.
But I just remember thinking like, oh, I like that going into this.
One thing that I learned pretty early on is that it was the most supportive environment. But if you're playing a song and then the song ends and people start clapping because the environment is so supportive, then you've done a bad thing. It's like you should never.
Did that happen?
Yeah, that happened like in the first 40 minutes. I didn't have my ducks in a row.
There was a gap?
There was a bit of a gap.
I must have been outside at that point.
But people clapped because they liked the song that it ended. But it's like you want to disappear to the background.
You gotta cut that out.
I was actually talking about it afterward in therapy as kind of a personal victory because it wasn't an ultra failure, like technically or otherwise. And I was trying to figure out why, as my therapist said, sometimes I'll be talking and he'll be like, when you talk about so-and-so, when you talk about DJing, you light up. And it's like, it's nice to have somebody who can say, hey, this is engaging for you. This is tapping into your passion and then trying to figure out why. And some of it is, there's so much psychology. There is elements of being the one in control, and I kind of enjoy that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and of course I just love music and the amount of homework that goes into being able to pull together enough stuff so that you can make decisions on the fly. Like I probably had like 12 hours of music prepared just so you can.
Just in case we got holed up.
Well, because you
snowed in.
No, yeah, that's true. But just to go in different directions and say,
right.
What do we need at this moment? And oh, this isn't working now. I gotta shift gears, kind of thing. That challenge is very fascinating to me, and the work that goes into it is not really work. When you find yourself doing something that you would do anyway, and you can kind of harness it for something, it's just listening to music is kind of is my hobby. So, but back to the control thing. Was it before or after? When we had like we went away with some couples, and a lot of times I like being the person that plays the music, Right. I like to set a vibe, and I like to we're playing Farkle. What's the right type of music for Farkle? We're having a deep conversation. What's the right type of music? We're out by the fire, and people are laughing. And now somebody seems like they kind of want to cry. What's the right type of music? And I had to learn. I really committed myself to analyzing this to the point where a couple of the things that I learned was, first of all, sometimes you don't need music. Sometimes you got to know when it's time to just turn the music off. Because I always think that there's the right type of music for everything. So that's the first thing that I learned from our couples weekend away.
Right.
I can play music all the time, and that's my instinct, but that's not what everybody wants. And it's trying to figure that out. Be of service and not just be in control. But then there's also, Jesse and I have this thing where it's we've started to connect over a few of Victoria Monet. That's our girl.
Uh-huh.
We started talking about her and her song "On Your Mama," and there's a kindling of something here that well, here's the first thing that happened. At a certain point in the evening, Jessie leans over and she's like, I've been controlling the music for hours. She's like, you mind if I play some music? And I'm like,
Does that threaten you?
it could have gone a number of ways, but I'm like, you know what? Yes, you go, girl. It's your turn. Yes. And then I let go of the reins and I let her take the music over, and like I didn't even judge it. And I ended up telling her later, I was like, and it was at Ward's party. We were dancing at Ward's party because our retreat thing was before it. So, because I had put Victoria Monet in the playlist, and it was a point where there was a lull and there weren't as many people on the dance floor, and we were both out on the deck talking, and we heard that song come on, and we like looked at each other. And Jesse and I had this moment, and then I was like, and we both got up and we ran in there so we could dance to our song. Me and your wife have a song.
I didn't know about this
yeah,
right now.
Yeah, we have a song.
Maybe we should have that fight after all.
And so we're dancing. I was like, you know what? I wanted to tell you that I really appreciate the fact that you asked to take the reins and play music the other weekend. And she was like, really? I was like, yeah. And
maybe you can have a dual. You can. Maybe my wife's got to become a DJ now.
Well, this is what I said. I said, well, first of all, she said, it was actually kind of hard. And I was like, I know, right? But you had to figure it out. Like the first few songs.
Listen, I really appreciate the fact that this is how you approach things, because you know how much I love music, but I do not like curating. I do not like
You
curating
don't want
music.
the aux, is what the kids say.
No.
Don't give me the aux.
I mean, music is like my first love, but curating.
Right, it's a specific thing.
I just don't have the patience for it.
Right,
So,
it takes more than just loving music. It's other things.
Yeah.
And so I enjoyed the fact that she said that it was difficult and she had to adjust and figure it out. And I was like, and you know what? I appreciated the fact that I could devote my full attention to Farkle in that moment instead of like dividing my attention, and I could be more engaged in the conversation instead of kind of taking a step back and like being on my phone, even though I'm just queuing up music. And then I was like, you know what? I think you're ready. I think you're ready for me to take you under the Snugglebaby wing.
Oh, this is a franchise?
Yes. I'm franchising. Your wife is joining my franchise.
Well, what's her cut?
She's coming under my wing. I don't get paid anything.
I know, but lady DJs are really, really cool. I'm just saying.
Well, I'll give her a cut. If she starts making the money.
Way better than dude DJs.
Like, I'm going to start wearing a hat and like big boots with like fish in the heels, and I'm going to bring her in and she's going to spin the...
Okay.
I'm going to be standing back there saying...
I feel like this is like a family conversation that probably needs to happen. I feel like I got to be a part of this. I just got to insert my opinion some.
What? You got nothing to do with this.
No, I think the question is, when is your next...
I'm her manager.
When is your next thing? Because...
she's opening for me. She's my apprentice.
Right, okay.
She's under my wing. She's the wind.
Okay, I'm looking forward to that.
It's not a wing, it's an antler. She's under my antler.
But when is the next gig? How do these gigs happen?
I don't know.
It's
I don't know.
And like maybe a better question is
Laura's party still happening? Because Jenna, Laura asked me to DJ her party.
Yes, she did.
And I immediately said yes, and that was like months ago, and it was supposed to be right after Thanksgiving. And then I've heard that it's not happening.
Well, because, the strikes have been happening and Laura hasn't been working, so the party...
Well, she's not paying me, though.
Well,
she's also not paying for a party.
Okay, cool.
It's a whole thing.
So I got to pay for her party just so I can have a
Yeah,
gig?
if you want to pay for her graduation party.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, well, this
We'll
is...
do a GoFundMe.
Okay.
Maybe I bet you my apprentices will be willing to chip in.
Okay.
Yeah, well, okay, so if you're my wife's manager, I feel like maybe I'm both of y'all's manager. Just because I feel like you got to be You gotta think about these next. First of all, your willingness.
I don't know what the venue would be because it's not a club. I'm not going into
is
clubs.
Great. Like I think that like if you want to make more of this happen, I think that's the most important part.
No weddings.
Right. Right.
No clubs. I'm just not ready for that, and that's a totally different thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know but like barbecues.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think. You've kind of got these two. You've got these two
chats.
opportunities. You've got parties like the one that we had, right?
Mixers.
And I will say, I'll throw this out there.
Middle-aged mixers.
Jesse and I have been talking. We've been talking about this for a long time. We had the game night thing.
Baby showers
at our house. Are these things that you don't want to do because that?
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to help you here. So here you go. Jesse and I had the game night thing for a while, then COVID hit, and it just threw us off. Not that we couldn't get back together over the past couple of years, but we just haven't. And then we've been talking about what it looks like to reinstitute something. This fall was very busy for Jesse and for me, and we're just like, well, let's think about maybe we're talking like 2024. But, I told you, I think we talked about it on the podcast a while ago about these like themed parties because we heard about that one that was like pasta and PowerPoint or something.
Yeah.
But it was like everybody has to do this PowerPoint presentation and then you get somebody else's and then you have to do it on the spot, but then you're also all making pasta or whatever. The thing I do love to curate is a full experience. Like that's something I have a passion for thematically. I'm not great at these are the specific things that need to happen in the specific order because the details sort of like is where I lose interest. But like ideas, broad ideas, the theme, like this meets this, let's get this person to do this and this person to do this and let's invite these people. Like I've really been thinking hard about this, about beginning to do these kinds of things, probably at our house.
You talking about a soiree?
Soiree might be soiree sounds like somebody's getting naked.
Okay.
I don't think anybody's getting naked unless that's like part of the performance.
A special evening with.
Yeah, but it would be like, oh, there's this person that can play this very specific instrument in this very fascinating way. And they're like really, really well known if you know about this instrument. And we're gonna have somebody come and we're gonna all make this meal together and then this person is gonna bring out this instrument and they're gonna play it.
Okay.
Things like that. I'm trying to think of ways to put together the themes, right? But I definitely feel like if we begin doing that, there's definitely, especially if it's not a musical performance kind of night, I feel like this is a perfect opportunity for Elkhound Snugglebaby that would be a great venue to be like, we're gonna dance. Like tonight we're gonna dance.
Oh, dance. Okay.
Or we just need some music for the event curated by Elkhound Snugglebaby. He's not really like at a booth tonight, but just so you know, like there could be like little signs that says like questions about the playlist, ask Elkhound Snugglebaby. I don't know, we got to come up with different systems because you're kind of like.
But the thing that I need is an occasion to use the DJ deck.
Oh, and that will be provided as well.
Well, then I have to man the deck. That's how it works.
I'm not saying that won't happen.
So it's okay.
But I'm just saying that I'm just saying that there could be a convergence here because I'm thinking about some curated events that then could require DJing.
I'm here for you.
But you got to be
very affordable for the time being.
You got to think about it. Because again, you got to get to it. There's going to be a time where you do need to
you need feedback on my face. That's what I thought you were going to get to, like because you gave me that.
It was dark. I don't know.
Posture, movements, anything like that?
I can't say that that I thought about it.
Good.
I wasn't looking at you a whole lot.
At one point you came over to me and you wanted to have a very detailed conversation about this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, because it hit me in the moment and I went in early on a song.
Right.
And I was about to leave.
Yeah.
And I had a thought.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I had that conversation because I was like, if I don't have this conversation with Link right now, I might forget.
Why would you do that?
This moment of inspiration. And so we had that, and I think I'm glad we had that conversation.
Yeah, me too. But I couldn't give you my full attention because I was working.
No, so no notes on your facial expression, performance, or anything. But ultimately, what I'm getting at is there will come a time for you to don the horns.
I think I want to set up.
Again.
I want to set up the thing where it becomes my backdrop, and then I can back up into it like an avatar. You know, like in the movie Avatar, where they like get in the machine and then all of a sudden.
Oh, and they attach?
Yeah, like I wanna add a little stand to my thing so it becomes my backdrop and then I can like back up it and then all of a sudden
you're gonna have to start charging if they're gonna do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That sounds expensive. That sounds like pneumatics, hydraulics.
I think it might just be a couple of straps.
No, but I think it made.
That was
I don't know. Now, Ward has a decision to make. Are we going back to a sing along, or are we going to do dance party? It's a legitimate question. Can you do both? I don't know. Maybe you can. You've got the system there, but they do feel like sort of distinctly different.
Right.
Paths.
I need a couple of different venues. So I can get better. Well, thanks for the feedback. I'm glad we got to talk about that because I want to keep the momentum going, and there is something about like you get lulled into a place where it's like, oh, you know, I got to develop my skill on the wheels of steel.
Right. I mean, the one thing to remember, I think, is next time before you announce that it's about time to dance, look at the door that you're about to go through before you say anything. Memorize how it works, where the opening is.
I will embarrass myself.
Then turn around. Say. Now, people might be like, that might become your thing. This guy's going like, you gotta see this guy. He's gonna do something right at the beginning. You never know what it's gonna be.
There is gonna be an implosion.
Yeah. It's all part of it.
I've gotten good at.
That could be part of it.
I think I'm really good at just moving on from it. Like I've had enough unmitigated embarrassing moments in my life.
You'd be in trouble if you let it slow you down.
Just to get up and keep going, man.
No, but you recovered well. It was a very memorable party.
It's my rec. I'm gonna rec Victoria Monet, her new album. I think it's called Jaguar 2. It's a sequel. It features me and Jesse's song, On My Mama.
Hold on, I feel like this is a little awkward because isn't that On My Mama? That's like a sex song that my wife and I make love to. Isn't it?
Well, that's for you to ask her, man.
No, it's not. I mean, Jessie, she. Yeah. She curated I curated one playlist, and then she was like, and then it got kind of old, and then she took over, and I was very happy about that.
Oh, I did that for her.
No,
I didn't. All right, that's my rec. Whew, this has been a fun one. I'm a little sweaty. Hashtag Ear Biscuits to let us know what you think, or leave us a voicemail. 1-888-EARPOD1. You know what? Play some voicemails now.
Hi guys, my name is Sunny, and I have officially caught up on Ear Biscuits. I started listening to it a couple months ago doing Uber Eats, and now I kind of don't know what to do with my life because I'm caught up on every single one of y'all's podcasts. And yeah, just thank you for keeping me sane while I was on the road, even though I would sometimes have dreams that we were all friends because I listen to you guys so much. So yeah, anyway, thank you. Bye.
To watch more Ear Biscuits, click on the playlist on the right.
To watch the previous episode of Ear Biscuits, click on the playlist to the left.
And don't forget to click on the circular icon to subscribe.
If you prefer to listen to this podcast, it's available on all your favorite podcast platforms. Thanks for being your mythical best.